Hey guys, Jimmy Noble here. I wanted to talk to you today about a change in the inventory of homes that are on the market. This is kind of important because over the last couple of years we've noticed the inventory levels have declined and declined and declined to the point where it's hard for a buyer to find a home in today's market. Let me give you a real world example of, I'm going to give you my opinion on why I think the home level inventory is so low. The inventory of homes on the market is so low, and then I'm going to kind of just go over some numbers. So this is real world, happened this week. I have a good friend of mine was looking to buy a place, and they were looking to pay cash. The asking price on the house was $250,000. When I looked at that particular neighborhood, I actually just drew a big old circle around it and just started looking back. Last time a house sold for a lower price than that I thought was a better house was back in 2012. So I was just looking at it to see like, hey, is this place a deal? Is this overpriced, underpriced? What? I'm just kind of looking at every avenue that I possibly can look at to give my personal assessment on a deal for a friend of mine. And at $250, it looked like a heck of a deal. Now, the first day this place was on the market, they had like 8 showings. The second day they were on the market, they had like 10 showings. The first day it was on the market, my friend made an offer. And they made an offer of full price, $250,000. Asking price was $250,000. Asking for no concessions. They were going to get a well inspection and a septic inspection. Well, multiple offers came in on that property. And my friend had moved their offer price up to $265,000. So they were $15,000 higher than the asking price, and all they wanted was a home inspection, well inspection, and septic inspection. They lost out. So the person who got that house, and we won't know until the numbers are published when this goes to closing. But the person that got that house waived their septic inspection and their well inspection. My friend didn't feel comfortable doing that for the purchase and acquisition of this particular property, so they lost the deal. The inventory is so low right now, it's creating competition amongst the buyer population that I've never in my career seen. In 14 years of selling houses, I've never seen it so competitive. I'm actually having agents calling me saying, hey, Jimmy, what do you got? Because we list a lot of homes on the market, saying, hey, Jimmy, what do you got coming on the market? I'm looking for something in this area or that area. That'll give me the price point, zip code, and whatnot, and I just kind of make a list and keep that to the side so I can give people a heads up so they can get people ready for, when we're going to hit the market. They'll be aware. I'll reach out to them and say, hey, guys, start lining this up. We're live today. Let's go see it. And this inventory level is so low, but now here's my take on why the inventory level is so low. So I'll give you my take on why the inventory level is so low, and I'm also going to give you some more numbers, some real world numbers of a place that my family and I are going to be vacationing on later this summer. So I personally feel that the inventory level is so low because people don't have the equity position in their property to be able to sell, even with prices at their peak. So I see a lot of settlements, through the course of the days, the weeks, and the months, through the years. And I can tell you, maybe 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, every single year in the spring, somebody comes to me and they say, hey, Jimmy, I wanted to see about selling my house. I'm looking to be able to pay commissions, taxes, seller subsidies, and be able to sell my property and break even, and we'll assess it. And so, every year this happens, and I put the numbers together and go over everything, and I'm like, someone in particular that I'm thinking of right now, where I remember looking at it first in 2017, I was like, you guys are close, but you're not there yet. This is what the numbers are. This is what you need for a break-even price. 2018, we assessed, and it still wasn't there. 2019, the numbers look good, and we were like, guys, I feel with confidence that we'll be able to get what we're looking for and get you guys to make a clean break and then get you to where you want to be. We were able to do that in 2019. So I think one of the reasons why our inventory level is so low is because people don't have the equity position to make the move and cover what they've got to cover to get them into their next place. Now let me give you so that's my reason. Let me give you a real world example. So in the month of August, my immediate family, so my wife and my two kids, we're going to get together with my mom, my brother, his wife, his kids, and my sister coming from California with her wife, with her husband, and her kids, and we were going to rent a place in Ocean City, Maryland. Now, I, being a real estate agent, I was curious. I was like, when I got the address of the place, my brother lined it up. When I got the address of the place, I was like, let me look at the history of this property, because I just like looking up houses and I like looking at numbers. So I pull the address up and I see that this house was built brand new in 2006, and it was sold to its first owner for a price of $980,000. That homeowner, owned that vacation property until 2011. In 2011, they got foreclosed on by the bank. The bank, that shows the numbers that they took it back at, the bank took it back at I'm having to recall, at $585,000 in the year 2011. It sat around in the bank's inventory, went back on the market in 2012, sold to the next buyer. So the first person owned it, got foreclosed on, went back to the bank, then went back to the next buyer in the open market. That buyer purchased it in 2012 for $580,000. Then they turned it around, did a lot of did some renovations to it, and turned it around and sold it to the current owner. So the current owner purchased it in 2019. So they've had it for, I forget what month they purchased it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was September of 2019 the current owner purchased it. So it hasn't even been a full year that current owner owns it. He purchased it for a price of $785,000. So the year right now is 2020. We have a house that was originally built in 2006 for $980,000, and it was last purchased. It had a couple of owners in that time, the bank, another owner, and it's on its third owner, and its current last purchase price was $785,000. Guys, that's a lot lower than that $980,000 that it was originally sold for. And that's just one example. And I know a lot of people come to me and they say, well, that doesn't affect my area the same way, or this and that. I mean, this is, you can name, I'm not even going to name areas because people say, well, that's not my area. I pull it and I see these same trends occurring pretty much everywhere that you go. And to be quite frank, the higher end stuff gets hit a little bit harder than the lower end stuff. Just because there's, I always tell people, imagine a pyramid full of buyers, and the buyers at the very bottom of the pyramid are buying a house for $100,000. The next rung is $200,000. The next rung is $300,000. The next 4, 5, 6. As my point being, as you go up in price, there are less people able to purchase at that particular price. So the start of this video, I said that we're going to talk about the change in home inventory, and I wanted to tell you that the home inventory levels are in fact going to go up. Why? Because we are seeing buyers having a harder time making those purchases. Let me give an example. I just talked to a lender today, and HELOCs are, now this is, when I say a lender, there's, you have all kinds of different lenders. You have warehouse lenders, and you can Google this stuff to find out what a warehouse lender is. You have warehouse lenders, banks, credit unions. I was talking to a lender, a bank, and they were offering HELOCs. They're not offering HELOCs anymore. In fact, the lender friend I was talking to said, hey, look, I have like a year left on my current HELOC. I'm actually going to close that out and get a new HELOC, so I'll have 10 years on it before they all freeze up. So people are making plans. They're holding their cash tight for when inventory goes up, prices go down. And the other reason why that's going to occur is because the buyers in the population are going to have a harder time buying. So her bank was doing loans all day long with a 640 credit score. That's now changed. Their new guideline is 680. I mean, I don't know if you guys have paid any attention to the news and Google it. Look at Chase. Chase now, if you want to get a loan, they're looking at 700 credit score with 20% down. I was just told that a jumbo from another lender just moved from 700 to 720 with 20% down. Guys, as you make these requirements harder for a buyer to get, when less people qualify for that loan, to sell it, you have to ultimately end up having to lower the price. Now I know what everybody says. They say the same thing over and over. They've been saying it since I've been in the business, and they've been saying we need tighter lending guidelines for the buyers so that they don't default on the loan. You need a more strong and stable buyer. I understand that, totally get that. But this market is the increase in prices and increase in home value is predicated on that person being able to sell it to another buyer for a higher price. And the only way you can get, you can change that is to change how you lend money. And that's how they've done it over and over and over again. There's a bit of a balloon here, and the coronavirus in housing, and the coronavirus is kind of the pin that pricked that bubble. I mean, it was inevitable we were looking for a pullback at some point or another. I actually thought we were going to see that pullback in the spring of 2019, and I thought we were going to see that pullback specifically because, October, November, December in 2018, the Fed started raising rates, and it actually got pretty dangerous. It started looking pretty bad for the spring market of 2019, and that was when the Fed said, whoa, we cannot do this, we got to start lowering rates. So they started lowering rates, and then you notice the market jumped back up. And don't take my word for it, go look at the Dow and what the Dow did during that specific time, and kind of mirrors what I'm talking about here with those interest rates. So point being, the whole reason for making this video is if you're looking to sell your current house. Why? Let me back up just a little bit. Every time you talk to a real estate agent, they're going to tell you it's always a great time to buy. Every time you talk to a loan officer, they're always going to tell you you need to get today's rates because rates could go up tomorrow. The reality is, over the course of the last 5 years, if you waited, you would have gotten a better rate at some point in the future. That's a reality. What I'm trying to tell you is make the move when things work for you. So what are some reasons to want to be able to want to sell in the current market when we could potentially be at another peak from what things look like? Let me give you a great example. If you're in an area, and this is a real world client that I have right now, they're in an area where they don't want to be. They're at pretty much a break-even point for their equity position. Whereas if they sell and pay everything they got to pay to be able to sell, they can make their move and retire to Florida. If prices go down, they won't have the equity position to be able to sell their house and buy what they're going to buy in Florida. So they're looking to make that move right now before inventory goes up and prices go down and they become underwater and unable to move to Florida. Guys, that's one example of someone who's looking to retire. Now, once they get to that Florida house, they're going to be paying a monthly payment that their pension is going to be able to cover. So it doesn't matter what happens to the prices, whether they go up or down, as long as their pension covers that monthly payment. So I'm not saying that prices aren't going to go up. I'm not saying prices aren't going to go down. What I am going to say is, if you can afford that monthly payment, you have a stable pension, go for it. Make that move now. Get out of where you're at before you get into that position like the buyers from 2006 to present day. So another reason why you might want to move and trade one place for another place, even locally here, is because you might want to get your kids into a different school district. And maybe you can make a little bit of equity right now, but if prices drop, you won't have that equity position, you don't have the cash to bring to the table. I know that sounds like a crazy thing, bringing cash to the table to be able to sell your house. I'll tell you a story about that in another video, because that was another real-world experience. Guys, give me a call if you've got any questions about any of this stuff. Give me a call. I do consults all day long. I run a real estate team. I'm not, so to speak, out in the field like I used to be, but I am here to run things, make sure things happen, answer all the questions, and give the best of advice that can be given in today's market. I'm always on my cell phone. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.